will be said by Madam Phoebe Mutemi, County Executive Committee Member, Culture, Gender, Youth, ICT, Sports and Social Services.
Let's bow down as we pray. Heavenly Father, we come before thy presence with humble heart. We thank you for the opportunity which you have given us as we gather here together. Lord, dear Redeemer, we welcome you as we start with this meeting. We pray for your wisdom. We pray for your guidance. And we pray that, Lord, my dear Father, you will give us clear minds and unity of purpose as we have our meeting today. And it is in the mighty name of Jesus we pray and believe.
We may be seated. Our host, Excellency Dr. Julius Malombe, EGH Governor Kitui County, Excellencies Ambassadors, Principal Secretary, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our first Stakeholders Breakfast Engagement meeting, and I would like all of us to invite ourselves with a round of applause, please. After all of us, thank you very much. Now, we will begin our program with a short introduction that will be said by, or that will be coordinated by Dr. Stephen Kimwele, County Executive Committee Member, Agriculture and Livestock. Please give him a round of applause as well.
His Excellency, the Governor of Kitui County, the Deputy Governor of Kitui County, Excellencies, Ambassadors and High Commissioners from Zambia, Malaysia, Pakistan, Congo, other high-ranking diplomats from Yemen, Nigeria, Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, Ukraine, Sudan, Kingdom of Jordan, Brazil, Senegal, Embassy of Sultanate of Oman, Cameroon, Indonesia, Philippines, Principal Secretary, representatives of invited ministries, the departments and agencies, invited development partners and private sector, the county ministers, the county head of public service, the county chief officers, chief of staff, key best advisor, chairperson and chairpersons of invited sectoral committee of the Kitui County Assembly, distinguished investors, guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Habari asubuhi. Jambo. My name is Dr. Stephen Baikimele. I'm the county minister responsible for agriculture and livestock. I would like to appreciate, by way of standing and waving, we have the county MCAs, members of county assembly, present here. The chairperson, I've seen some. Yeah, let's clap for him. We go to the chief of staff. Let's clap for him. We go to county chief officers. Clap for them. We have the invited development partners. In that category, please stand, all the development partners and private sector, please. I've seen so many members. You can stand wherever you are. Okay, clap for them. Then we have the representative from the ministries, the state department ministries and agencies. Please, I've seen several. Dr. Huma and the rest, thank you very much. Again, we have Principal Secretary who have already arrived. We shall give it a clap for our Principal Secretary. Then we have High Commissioner for Zambia. Clap for him. Then we have High Commissioner for Malaysia. So we have Ambassador for Kazakhstan. Thank you. Then we have also Ambassador for Congo, Republic of Congo. And congratulations, Congo is playing very well in the World Cup. Thank you very much. Then also, again, I want to also recognize again our Principal Secretary, Mr. Harry Kimtai, again. Also, we have also the ambassador for Burkina Faso. Let's clap for him. Ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, I would like to invite our governor, His Excellency Dr. Malombe, so that he may give us the agenda for the day. Let's give him a clap.
Principal Secretaries who are here, the High Commissioners and Ambassadors present, national and the county government officials, various investors and stakeholders, and all of you who are right here and have responded to our invitation. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, my name is Julius Malombe, Dr. Julius Malombe. I'm the governor for Kitui. And I would like at the onset to thank you very much for responding to our invitation to come today to appreciate Kitui from what we share with you. Kitui County is one of the 47 counties in the Republic of Kenya. In terms of area, it is the 6th largest, 30,496 square kilometers. And in terms of population, it was around 29. Sorry for that.
Thank you very much. Let me start again very quickly. Thank you very much for responding to our invitation to come, and we from Kitui, we share various aspects relating to our county, particularly our resource endowments, the investment opportunities there are in Kitui, the incentives we have put together for potential investors, and also to invite you to an event we are organizing sometime in September. As I said, Kitui is one of the 47 counties of Kenya. It is the 6th largest, with the size estimated at 30,496 square kilometers. And in terms of population, it was ranked number 14 out of 47, with a population of 1,136,000. That is 2019 census, but projected it to be around 1.3 currently. In terms of accessibility, Kitui is very accessible from Nairobi. You take about 2 hours if you're driving very fast, 100 kilometers, 110, and you can get there on tarmac road via Thika and Matu, or via Machakos and Masi. All those will take you to Kitui town. If you desire to come by helicopter, you can get there 26 minutes from Wilson Airport, and you can get to any part of Kitui within no more than 35 minutes by helicopter. Kitui County is a member of an economic bloc we refer to as second Southeastern Kenya economic bloc, because if you look at the map of Kenya, we are located at the southeastern tip of the county. The county has many micro, small and medium enterprises, about 35,000 of them. We have 460 cooperatives, and in terms of connectivity, mobile connectivity, the penetration is 83%. In other words, 83% of our people have mobile phones and they are connected. We have fiber optic along the main road spines. For example, if you want to get to Garissa by road, you'll have to pass through Kitui and Mwingi. The other one is climate. Climate of Kitui is semi-arid. Or let me come again on that. Kitui is semi-arid. It's neither very hot, neither very cold. Probably one of the most ideal climates to invest and even to live in. Our temperatures average around between 25 to 6 degrees centigrade. In terms of rainfall, we get fairly good rainfall. In terms of topography, we are blessed with about 9 hills, and from those 9 hills we have about 60 rivers, and we have organized our county into 5 river basins, so that we manage the rivers very well. And one of the most sought out resources, the sand resource, is also managed very well the way it is handled. Then in terms of administration units, for electoral units, we have 80 constituencies, and we have about 18 national government administrative units where there are deputy county commissioners. In terms of number of wards, we have 40 wards, and therefore is one of the large counties actually with 40 wards. Going to resource endowments, our county is well endowed with many aspects. Yeah, it's well endowed. Yeah, and for example, well endowed with minerals, and we have several minerals which you can find there. You have coal, you have gold, you have iron, you have copper, you have limestone, and many other minerals. The document which I'm referring to will be shared with you so that you can see even the quantities of those particular minerals in terms of metric tons in various places. It is also well endowed with the good human capital, because if you invest there, you like people, skilled and semi-skilled, and even the management and professional cadre. They are found there. We have a youthful and energetic population. And the youth population, just like the national one, it's about 25%. And when I talk about youth, I mean people aged between 18 and 35 years, because that's how the Constitution categorizes, which means roughly around 300,000 of the population are in that particular category. It's important to appreciate. We are also blessed with the technical vocational training institutes. We have 10 of them, and we have 57 vocational training centers. Why are they important? Because these are the ones which train the people who will drive industry, who will work also in various places, particularly where industrialization is being undertaken. Kitui is ideal for renewable energy, particularly solar, because we enjoy sunlight almost 12 hours. Even now, when it's July, and in many parts of this country, you may not have your solar panels recharging your battery. In Kitui, they still do, because of the nature of the climate there. Then, if you're interested in sporting and so forth and so on, we have a new stadium, a 10,000-seater stadium, where we held the Mashujaa Day last year, and we also have an airstrip, which is tarmacked, and many other fields and stadia which have been constructed by the county itself. because virtually in every ward, and we have 40 wards, you have a public stadia which has been prepared by the county. Talking of water resources, because they are important, Kitui is sandwiched between the country's two main rivers. That is the Tana River to the north and to the south by Athi River. And as I said earlier, we have 60 seasonal rivers which emanate from the 10 hills which are in Kitui. We have a number of dams which can be tapped for use in various ways. For example, we have the Vake Dam, which really is between Makueni, Machakos, and Kitui. Although not completed, but it is almost 85% complete, and it will be completed soon. We have another dam near Kitui town called Uma, and then we have dams at Kiambere, Grand Falls. Not Grand Falls. Grand Falls has not been invested in, and it has not been done, but there are plans to do it going forward. We also get water from Masinga Dam. In fact, the water which services Kitui town is from Masinga Dam. We have two water companies, water service providers, Kituasco, which stands for Kitui Water and Sewerage Company Limited, and Kimoasco, which is Kiambere Water and Sewerage Company. Kimoasco serves the northern part of our county, and Kituasco serves the central part and the lower parts of the southern parts of the county. Getting to agriculture, Kitui, just like many counties in this country, agriculture is a very key sector, and one can invest in various value chains relating to agriculture. For example, in the pulses, we have green grams, and we produce quite a lot. Actually, we are #1 nationally, where we produce currently 79,000 metric tons, and we have potential for 201 metric tons. Those are assessments done by the National Minister of Agriculture. Cowpeas, actual production currently is 50,000 metric tons, with a potential of 191, and we are #1 also nationally in terms of producing cowpeas. Pigeon peas, the actual production is 21,680 metric tons, and a potential of 88,520 metric tons. So there is potential for pulses to grow more, and also to establish industries and factories which can process the pulses and add value, so that the prices and the incomes derived from them is better than when they are sold raw. Then in cereals we have sorghum, and the actual production is that 7,325 metric tons, with a potential of 136 metric tons. And millet, the actual production 22,000 metric tons, potential 96 metric tons, 96,000. Livestock and livestock products, honey products, and horticulture, cotton and apparel, and so forth. Also, we have potential for that. If I may just cite some, for example, mango, actual production is 46,000 metric tons, with a potential of 84,000 metric tons. So one establishes a mango juice processing plant or plants in various places there, it will work. Then what we have watermelon, the actual production is 18,402. The climate is very ideal for watermelon. There is a place, one of our wards called Imui and Dung. If you go there, they grow almost naturally. And the potential is 200,000 metric tons. And we are ranked number 3 nationally in that one. Tomatoes actual production is at 7,000 metric tons with a potential of 57 metric tons. Cotton and apparel production now is 144 metric tons with a potential of 3,211. Oil crops, sunflower, actual production is 4,000 metric tons and a potential of 6,000 metric tons. If I may come and go back and revisit the investment opportunities, because I was mentioning some of them as I presented all these. There are opportunities in commercial production relating to any of the resources which are found in our county. There is irrigated agriculture opportunities, agro-processing and value addition, aggregation and marketing, mainly buying and putting them together, adding value and selling them, or sometimes selling them raw. And then, of course, related to that is the transport and logistics. If I go to minerals, as I said, they are found in many places. They are in terms of mining, adding value, and earning a lot of money on the same. When we go to agricultural products, particularly livestock, meat, goat meat, the actual population of our goats is 2,643,000, and there is a potential to have 3,436. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we are number 1 or number 2 in this country. Indigenous chicken, and Kenyans love it, and even in other places they love it. The actual population is 5,800,000 with a potential of 9,433. And beef cattle, the actual population of beef cattle is 689 with a potential of 896,000. The livestock products, Chevron, which is goat meat, actual production currently is 14,418, but there is potential for 29,989. And even the indigenous chicken, the figures are there, the beef, also honey. Honey, we have ranked number 1 in terms of honey production. The actual production currently is 1,890 metric tons with a potential of 4,825. You may have gone to a supermarket and you will see honey package as Kitui honey. This is part of the honey which is produced there. Beeswax, actual production is 189 metric tons with a potential of 484. And once again, if you want to get into the commercial line, if you want to go to agro-processing and the transport and logistics relating to that, they are also available. Then talking about livestock value chain, there is opportunity to have abattoirs, all those goats, all those chicken, all those cattle and so forth. An abattoir or abattoir small ones which make economic sense can also be available. Then the other one is fodder production and silage. to feed the animals. Leather cottages also can be begun. And the other one is honey production and processing, and also wax and related products value chain. Then looking at other areas where people can invest in, if you look at the health sector, there are opportunities because given the distance, the location of Kitui, where it's not too far from the capital city, neither too near, and with well connected in terms of electricity. We have the national grid, getting three-phase electricity very easy. We have water from Masinga to Kitui, from Kiambere to Kitui. There's a water project, big one, which is being considered for funding by the Spaniards. We call it Kindaruma Kiomo Mwingi Water Project. And then we have the Doke Dam, as I said, is at the border. Water from there can be accessed. Then the other one is solar. If you want to establish solar plants, you can have solar plants in Kitui. 12 hours of sunlight should be able to be okay. Health, there will be land, and there will be trained personnel. We have a university there called the Southeastern Kenya University. It has a medical school, it's training people, but of course, many universities in this country now, public universities, are training medical staff so they can also come there. But more importantly, we have land available, and we have people, professionals, who will be more than willing to work with any investor who invests in that line. There are also investment opportunities in culture and sports. For example, the creative and cultural related ones. For example, Kitui, we are sandwiched between the coastal sand beach tourist points with the Mount Kenya and with the tarmac road from Mombasa through Kibwezi, passing through Kitui. If you establish anything relating to camping, cultural tourism or ecotourism, and so forth and so on, you will get both local tourists and also foreign tourists who may be wishing to move from Mombasa and they go to Mount Kenya area. Also, we have two game reserves. That is South Kitui Game Reserve, and the other one is called Mwingi North Game Reserve. The Savo East Game Park, 46% of Savo East is in Kitui. The other part, 54% is in Taita Taveta, and the Savo West is all in Taita Taveta, and I think maybe part of it in Kajiado. Then you can also, when you are still in culture and sports, you can establish fitness and recreation facilities, develop gyms, wellness centers, sports academies, and recreational facilities. Devolution has moved resources to counties and also created opportunities for investment in those counties. Not only Kitui, but I'm talking about Kitui today. So you can develop all those depending on the size of your investment. Yeah. So The other one is within South Kitui Game Reserve. You can have conservancies, you can have ecologies, and all these you can, within the compounds, have campsites. There's a rhino sanctuary which is in the process of being established by the county government working with the Kenya Wildlife Services. And then because of the many hills we have, which are very ideal for zip lining, aerial adventure, cable car system, there's a valley called Iko. If you are on one side of the hill and the other side, if you put a cable car there or a zip lining, many people will be more than interested to come and sample that. We have a rock, a famous rock called Zabani Rock, and the folklore has it, if you go around that particular rock 7 times, your gender can change if you so desire. And because the rock is so big and the diameter is so big, there are plans to invest in a cable car, so that instead of walking around, if you don't want to walk around, you can go around with the cable car. You can go up cable car and go around with the cable car and enjoy the feeling. Kitui is endowed with many snakes, and although we tend to associate snakes with the biting people and if not well attended to, they die, but the venom which they produce is used in many things in pharmaceutical, by some pharmaceutical companies. The venom itself can make what we call anti-snake venom, because if you're bitten by a snake, the antidote is anti-venom. So that can be done. We have a snake and reptile park in one of our places called Tomo, and perhaps you can, before you decide to invest, also go and look at that. But they are rare there, and one time we asked the state corporation which oversees them whether they need to be destroyed or not. They said, oh no, please don't destroy them. They are big assets, and the investors can look at them. Then in terms of investment opportunities in trade, industry and cooperatives, Kitui County is one of the, say, 24 or so counties which has established a county aggregation and industrial park. This concept was started by His Excellency the President, and virtually all counties are in the process of establishing one. But ourselves, we are fairly advanced. We set aside 1,500 acres of land, and we have worked with the National Fiscal Planning Department in order to plan for the 1,500 acres. And for example, we have set aside 10 acres, and 10 acres is a lot of land, for the core pipes, which we are doing with the national government. And it will have cold storage facilities, and for aggregation centers, office block, and other supporting utilities. So if you are investing there, this particular center has the office infrastructure necessary to support you and to provide you with the information you may require around there. And then there is a potential for establishing business hubs, logistic and distribution centers in there, well located along the Thika, Matu, Mwingi, Garissa highway, and also you pass just through there as you get to Kitui, well connected with electricity and water as well. Then cooperatives, I said we have 460 cooperatives with an asset base of 17 billion. And 14 billion of that asset base is held by 326 SACCOs, which also support financial services, particularly at the lower level, and also both savings and investments. And then we have 120 producer and marketing cooperatives. Talking of land, because investors, there is one thing they have indicated they very usually keen on. Kitui, as I said, is very large, 30,000 square kilometers. Machakos and Makueni put together, they are not even half of Kitui, because Machakos is 6,200 square kilometers, Makueni is 8,000 and 9,000 square kilometers, so it's about 14. If you take Kitui, it's a number of other counties combined in terms of size, which means land availability is there, and if you crystallize precisely the area you want to go into and you engage the county, will be able to identify suitable land where you can make your investment. We also organize Kitui into, because it's large, in order to encourage both the local and foreign investors, we reorganize the county into 6 economic and investment zones. We call them EIZs, through a vision which was developed in 2015, which is supposed to run until 2035. It's called Kitui Vision for Economic and Social Transformation. The material we have given you shows the 6 economic and investment zones, and the resource endowment in each of the zones, and the investment opportunities in each of those zones. So allow me not to go into a lot of details on it. But if I may just touch a little bit of the land we have set aside, the 1,500 acres of the Kitui County Agricultural and Industrial Park. 1,400 acres is designated for industrial uses. That is for heavy and medium enterprises, where you can get up to 100 acres, 50 acres, 100 acres, 300 up to 400 is the maximum. And for light industries, we have set aside 160 acres. There is a solar plant because we want to have a stable power there, 300 acres. But Kitui is well served through the national grid, as I said earlier. But we know these days, sometimes the national grid electricity supply and energy can fail, so you need some backup. So there is that. Also, there is a proposed golf course, because maybe some of the people who invest there will require to have somewhere where they can stretch their legs as they play golf. A small stadium, good 20 acres or so, and waste management facilities. Of course, as you will plan the land, there must be waylays for roads and other social amenities like schools and hospitals and also a police station. In this place where we have the County Aggregation and Industrial Park, 1,500, we are planning a police station. Most counties, the highest reservation, land reservation, is either 200 or 300, mostly 100. So Kitui, we looked ahead, we said, let's reserve land where if an investor wants to come in and they are given a 33-year lease, they feel comfortable. We give leases for 3 years to 99 years. Then the other thing which will encourage investors is to have a one-stop shop arrangement where all your inquiries are processed through a committee whose representatives are drawn from 10 county ministries, but with a secretariat provided mainly by the ministry responsible for trade, investment, and industries, and industrialization. That's that. The river basins. As I said, we have 60 rivers, 9 hills, and in order to manage the resources associated with the rivers and the river basins and the hills, we have reorganized the county into 5 river basins. And within each river basins, we have already worked with the communities to form cooperatives. So there's a cooperative in each river basin, and those who wish to access the sand resource, it is not to be ideal for sand. Those who want to access that particular resource, they can access it through those particular cooperatives. We came up with a law, we call it the Kitui County River Basin Sand Utilization and Conservation Act 2024, and it guides people how you can access the sand resource, because if not properly regulated, it can be done in a manner which can destroy the environment. Then there are opportunities for textile and apparel. Cotton is grown there. Currently we have 1 ginnery, but there is potential for growing more cotton. You know, cotton in this country went down. Cotton production to the extent Rivertex and other places to import descent from Tanzania. And this is because the industry had problems when people deliver the cotton there, they were not being paid promptly. But I think that has been addressed, work with the national government, and our farmers are taking to growing cotton once again. There are incentives which the county provides. One of them is land. The other one is servicing of land. In case, for example, you want to invest in a school, because people can invest in schools or in a nearby center. The county government can open the roads which lead there. The county government can arrange for water to be taken there, and electricity as well. So that is one thing we do. Then the other one is we also take advantage of the incentives which the national government provides. For example, exemptions which apply to excise duty or duty, declaration fees, permit fees, stamp duty, etc., without the tax. All those will be available to you as an investor when you invest in Kitui, because it's part of the country. And agribusiness, there are VAT exemptions at 0 rating. which applies to selected agricultural products, while there is 100% deduction is available for the cost of farm buildings and structures. If you look at Kenya's incentives structure, you will find there are incentives for that. So when you are putting a farm building, for example, on other structures, there is this 100% deduction, I think VAT deduction. Tourism and hospitality, again, the investment deduction applied to hotel buildings and tourism packages, where investors benefit from zero-rated VAT. Can invest easier, maybe they will favor us by giving us an indication of other incentives which can be available. Then Kitui County has been undertaking various initiatives, organizing various initiatives, just to sensitize our own people of the potential for future investments. For example, we had sometime in 2024, the Kitui County Youth Engagement Forum. That was immediately after that June Gen Z protests. Many governors said they will organize meetings to meet their youth. Many didn't. I don't think there is any, but Kitui did in August, and we met over 1,000 youth from each of our 247 villages. Then the Kitui County Investor Sensitization Forum, we organized one in March last year, very well attended by over 6,000 local investors. It was focusing more on local investors. We wanted to organize an international investors conference, but we said we would combine it with the agricultural show and our trade fair, and I'll be coming to that. That name you see there, KASTIE, is all about that. The other one is we have sensitizing potential investors within our economic and investment zones, and I said there are 6 of them, and they are indicated in the park. And then we also engage directly with the potential investors, nationally, and with the some embassies. I won't allow me not to mention them here, but we do that. And Kitui County is organizing another forum, the Kitui Agricultural Show, Trade and Investment Expo 2026, which will take place between 24th to 26th. 24th is a Thursday, 26th is a Saturday of September, and where a lot of the things I've talked about will be showcased, including, of course, the resource endowments and the investment zones, the economic and investment zones, and so forth and so on. There will be, during this particular event, investors conference exhibition, where we'll showcase the available resource endowment and opportunities for investment. Then we will be showcasing matters relating to climate smart agriculture, agribusiness, MSMEs. This time round, we have had shows since 2022, when we came back to office, because we used to be there before, 2013 to 2017, but we have not accorded in the past attention to micro, small and medium enterprises. And we know micro, small and medium enterprises are the drivers of local economies and even the national economy. They account for a very high percentage of the employment and job opportunities created here. So this time round we are doing that. The cooperatives also, we look at them because we want people to organize, because once you organize you can mobilize resources better and be guided in a better way on what to invest in order to have returns for your investment. The event will be held at our newly constructed stadium, the Nairobi Stadium, as I said earlier, is a 10,000 capacity stadium. Then, as I conclude, the shared way forward, we do not want to call it our own way forward. I want it to be shared. One of the things is we wanted to organize this so that you can appreciate, though not in a lot of details, through the highlights we have provided about Kitui County and its resource endowments and opportunities. I hope that has been done, and this will be supplemented by the information pack which has been provided to each of the participants here. Then we want to take this opportunity to once again, if we did so, if we did not, we want to take this opportunity to extend our invitation to you to spare time so that you can come to Kitui from September 24th, Thursday, September 24th to September 26th. You can come any day, it doesn't have to be all the days. And we'll have the information desk where if you desire to come, whom you can contact, and then we welcome you. And finally, we trust that the communication sent to you, because we sent some communication, particularly referring to the Kitui Agricultural Trade Fair and Investment Expo 2026. We sent some letters to a number of organizations, including embassies, which are there, which are here. We trust you, and we request for sponsoring. We trust you to consider, you either consider, because you have gotten very good responses from a number of the organizations here and others who are not here. And those of you who haven't, we hope you are considering to sponsor and reap the benefits of being one of the sponsors of the events, which are outlined in another document. I think that is part of the document we have circulated. And that brings me to the end of the highlights I wanted, or we had planned to give for our county today in the morning for this breakfast meeting. No, breakfast meetings don't take a lot of time. Thank you very much.
More round of applause to His Excellency the Governor. Thank you very much. Copies of the presentation will be shared in hard copy and also in your emails. As we transition to the next part of the program, I want to give you a short story of a net teacher from my village who never missed school at any given time. Then the deputy head teacher was worried when will he give me an opportunity for me to lead the school, at least for a day. He waited for long. Then one day, the head teacher fell sick. He had to leave for a week. So the deputy head teacher knew that now I have an opportunity to be in charge of the school. And on Monday, he organized for porridge at 10. And very early in the morning, he called for an assembly to announce that he's in charge of the school. Then immediately after the porridge and 10 o'clock break, he called for another assembly. The entire school was there, and then he asked them, so far, how am I doing? So right now, we want to get to plenary session, and I will be calling Ben Kitili, Senior Editor at Nation Media Group, son of Kitui and a livestock farmer, to take us through the plenary session. A round of applause for Ben Kitui. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, David. I don't know in this case who the head teacher and the deputy is, but ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. My name is Ben Kitui, as you've heard. I'm a communication professional. I'm a journalist, but most importantly, as you've heard from my colleague, I'm a son of Kitui County, and I'm a very proud one. My job is very simple. The governor has tried to summarize a lot of information from the County of Kitui, and my job is to oversee a plenary session. I'm sure you have a lot of questions about the trade and investments opportunities in the County of Kitui, about the mineral endowments. So please prepare your questions. We shall be getting into that. The governor will be handling the questions, or he will be directing them to whichever department needs to say so. But before we do that, we have a couple of quick presentations from a number of people. We shall be hearing from Invest Kenya. We shall also be hearing from the Principal Secretary in charge of Industry, as well as the Principal Secretary in charge of the State Department of Mining. So without further ado, let me introduce the CEO of Invest Kenya, otherwise known as the Kenya Investment Authority, John Mwando. Please, a round of applause.
All protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Good morning. I'll keep mine very short because His Excellency the Governor has been very elaborate, and I know there's a mix of everybody in this audience, from public sector, private sector, the diplomatic corps, members of the fourth estate. But for us, and I want just to make 3 points as a Kenya Investment Authority, what we will do to support the County Government of Kitui and other counties in achieving the objectives that have been so well elaborated by His Excellency the Governor. And I want just to make 3 points. The first one is, investors are always looking for, a commensurate return to their investments. And if you want to have a good return on the capital that you deploy, you're looking for really credible opportunities. And I think what His Excellency the Governor has done is to share the breadth and the scope of multiple opportunities across many sectors. And what we really want to do, if you have looked at what we have produced as government, is a credible investment projects catalog, and we want to ensure we work with them so that the level and the detail that we have in the projects that they have is really very deep, such that we shorten the discovery period of what investors spend time on looking, and you really have the governor share some depth in terms of the projects and the things that are there. And we want to really just see whether we can package this and work together so that we can be able to do adequate investor targeting. The second point is really work with the county in ensuring we have a really predictable business climate, a predictable environment, so where investors are certain what the future looks like, what's the tax regime like. And I know Your Excellency, you challenge us to share the incentives. Those are many and varied, and we do not have to share those today. They're available for most of you to appreciate, because they enable you to plan and see what the horizons look like, and we can be able to ensure the conducive business climate that we have at a national level can also be seen at a county level. And that is why we are also working with Kitui County to ensure our one-stop center and the county one-stop center can get integrated. We reduce the bottlenecks in terms of licensing processes, etc. And really my final point is really about investment conference and exhibitions preparedness. We did early last year prepare a county conference guide, and we, as a result of that, laid out certain milestones. Most of you participated in the Kenya International Investment Conference in March this year, where we did $2.9 billion worth of deals. And there is a difference between generating leads, expressing interest, and getting a deal on the ground, because we want to ensure when we do have these conferences and engagements, we can have transactions that we can really go to the ground. I am happy to confirm, Your Excellency Governor and your team, we have a few projects which we think groundbreaking in the county of Kitui should happen this calendar year. And we hope some of them can be unveiled at the conference. It's not really the quantum, but the quality of transactions we see. So for us, it's really to say, on behalf of the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, through Invest Kenya, we are glad. Because my parting shot when a Kitui is always simple. Investors come to Kenya, but inevitably they land in a county. So it doesn't matter how much we pronounce the Republic, without county X or Y, there will never be really an investment, and the ground is where it happens. And really proud to see the milestones Kitui County is making, and we hope we can pivot the investment narrative to be, championed through the wonderful county of Kitui. So for me, that's all I have to say. I know there's a PS in the house, and when our bosses are around, we say very little so that we can get to hear. And I couldn't think of a better nexus to start this journey than with the mining conversation that Kitui is renowned for. And I'm really proud to see my brother PS Kimtai in the room, and all of you wonderful people here. Have a wonderful morning. Thank you very much.
Another round of applause, please, for the CEO. Like you heard, natural resources is what Kitui is very rich in as well. Minerals, whether it is the coal basin in Moi, whether it is iron ore and limestone in Kanzigo. Kitui is quite rich. And next on stage, I'll invite Principal Secretary in charge of mining in the Ministry of Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs, Hari Kimtai. Round of applause, please, for the PS.
Your Excellency, Dr. Malombe, Governor of Kitui County, and the entire team from Kitui County, Excellencies, Ambassadors, present here today, development partners, investors, and Kenyans who have come to see what Kitui has in terms of potential. Good morning. Good morning. As mentioned by my very good friend, Ben Kitili, I think I didn't know that he comes from Kitui. And I've seen a lot of friends of mine, and I can now question them which county they belong. So most of them come from Kitui. You know, sometimes you assume it is Makueni, and it's mostly Machakos, which is very near here. And now I've known they come from far and a very potential county like Kitui. And Excellency, you've done us proud today, especially showing us what Kitui has. You know, sometimes to put all these counties into perspective is not easy. But I want to thank you for what you have done today to us, Kenyans and investors, the opportunities that are available in Kitui County. I want to say that I am from the State Department for Mining in the Ministry of Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs. And if you see what Kitui has, it touches that all because it's near Mombasa, the logistics, that's maritime affairs. It comes to blue economy, the opportunities, the rivers there, dams, blue economy comes in there very well. And the big thing, the big topic now in this country is mining. I don't think there's anyone who does not talk about mining now. The only thing I don't want you to do is to go around the big hill in Kitui because that can be dangerous. I am just going to take a few of my slides to really show you what Kitui has in terms of the minerals. All of us, especially us Kenyans who did geography, we used to be told the map of Kenya, which minerals we have. But you see, those days we only told of Magadi, soda ash, fluorspar in Kerio. Those were the minerals that used to hear mostly because in terms of investment, mining, that's what used to take place. Don't worry about this, I'll give you the slide, but let me take you to the next slide, which is the focus minerals for Kitui County. And if you look at these focus minerals, we have the very critical minerals that are now in high demand globally. Among them is graphite, iron ore, limestone, coal in Mui Basin, I think. Ben has talked about it, and there is a conversation which I want us to have with Kitui County about that coal in Mui Basin. We are sitting on huge potential. You can save this country the forex that we are spending so much in terms of importing this coal. Because as we expand our our factories, cement factories for example, we need this coal. Otherwise our cost of cement will still go up, yet we are sitting on the very resource that can help us reduce the cost. The coltan, which is now among the high demand minerals for the purpose of technology, everybody has a phone here. Without a coltan, you don't have your smartphones. Magnesite, magnesium, then copper. As you transition to electric vehicles, copper is key. But the county that has copper in terms of huge potential is Kitui. And they have told us, our geologists have told us that Kitui copper is the best quality. And as we are speaking, we have already lined up some investors who are likely to come. So expect, when Wenda was talking about this year, we expect some investors to come next month, beginning from the 12th or 14th. And I think the governor is already aware of it. And we want to focus on copper. We of course clay, ceramics, radium, of course, you talk about batteries, the silica sand. Yes, already talked about sand harvesting, silica. That comes from there. So now I think the governor has talked about, I want to take you now the critical path, the pathway of how do you get to these minerals. You know, we're talking about minerals, but now in the country, what is the critical pathway that you are supposed to follow? Allow me just to take you through. You know, some of Kenyans don't understand. They say, but this is my land. I say, but it is your land, yes. But when it comes to minerals, it is public land. And it's very clear in our constitution, Article 62, subsection 1F, defines the public land, which includes minerals. Kenyans, do you know that? You know that some people do, but it's my land. You have only the service rights. Below it, it belongs to the people of Kenya. All right? So I felt I need to tell you about this so that you're able to understand. In Kitui, people, as you talk about land, you need to understand which land are you referring to. So you need to understand which land is that. Because the other land of minerals belongs to the national government and is held by the people of Kenya. By the national, in trust for the people of Kenya, by the national government, not county. Please differentiate that. I need you to understand that. Of course, I don't want to go into classification, but the basis of that is Article 61, as I've started saying, which classifies land, Article 62, public land, and then Article 63 tells us the community land. When you're dealing with the community land, who do you deal with? That's when you deal with the community and the county government, which hold that land in trust for the community. Very quickly again, I'll just tell you the legal basis for mineral ownership under the Mining Article 306 of 2016, Section 6, subsection 1, defines minerals in Kenya as the property of the public and are vested in the national government in trust for the people of Kenya. The key message here is mineral ownership, state. Mineral regulation and oversight, national government. I think you need to understand as an investor, where do you go when it comes to minerals? Sometimes there's a little bit of confusion here and there, but I think the purpose of this meeting today is, as the governor has highlighted what we have, the potential, the investment potential of minerals, but the pathway, how do you go about it? We are telling you, come to us, the State Department for Mining will be able to guide you for the purpose of you obtaining the mineral rights. Now, I want to just take you through the regulation in terms of who regulates the mining. And the governor asked me, what is the role of the county? I think I want to define here each agency and what is their role. Basically, of course, we are established under the Mining Act, which gives us the basis for us to run the mining sector in the country, and specifically the Executive Order number 2 of 2023, which then tells us who is the one that mandated to run the ministry at this particular period of this government. So the regulations are very clear. We do formulation of policy, we do licensing and permitting. As a national government, we issue rights, we give the administration of the rights, and we also administer it. Issues of compliance and enforcement, those are issues we're discussing with the governor, but we share this sometimes. You help us enforce for us to collect royalty, and then we pay you. I'll be telling you how the royalty is shared in terms of revenue that we get from the minerals. And then the control of the minerals movement, we also ensure that as minerals move from one county to another, we need to know where is the origin, because the source becomes the revenue for that county. You can't tell me, for example, if you are telling us you're exporting gold from Nairobi, was gold produced from Nairobi? We need to know for the purpose of apportioning the royalties. So that's why we have this control movement of the minerals, and then the benefit sharing of minerals. We need to know how, if we collect royalties, how do we share? I'll be telling you how we share these minerals. And then strategic minerals designation. Copper, we have about 14 minerals that have been designated by the cabinet to be strategic. And why strategic? Because of the global demand, copper, graphite, coltan, and chromite, and others. These are already defined because of the demand. So we need to push in the country for the supply to make sure that we're able to benefit more. For example, one of the strategies is to ensure that we have in-country processing. Copper, for example, I'm not saying we can't export the ore. We need to process it to a certain state so that we're able to export, rather than exporting the entire ore and then we bring in the finished product. At which cost are we doing that? That's the question that we need to pose to ourselves as a country. When it comes to the issues of the county, what's the role of the county? We say county because eventually you get the resources in terms of revenue sharing, then you need to play what's called supporting role and also participatory. One, to help us in public participation and community engagement, because it is you who is with the community and you know the planning for the community, you need to sensitize them to help us bring in investors so that we're able to extract the resources that are available within that community. The county also, we look at the county land use planning. We need to engage with yourselves. Tell us how have you planned your county, and of course you have the county planning development plans that you already have. So we look at it and say, we're able to guide you and tell you, make this an industrial park, as you say, there are resources here, and therefore they are likely to become industrial zone. So that's how we bring in the national government and the county government to work together for the purpose of extraction. Environmental conservation, key, very important, because it's a shared responsibility between us, national government through MCA or the NEMA, and then the county government playing also a role. The governor just said, if you say you're investing in Mui, for example, they will do the infrastructure to that place. So that's how we work closely with the county government, that we identify the resource, then we notify the county then starts putting in infrastructure to ensure that they support the extraction of our minerals. And of course, they sit and wait for the resources in terms of the royalty that will pay. They get 20% of the royalty that I collect. The national government gets 70% and the community gets 10%. Our Mining Act, Cap 306, has clearly defined sharing of resources. We as a country are lucky now, because as you start extracting, we're able to apportion and share the resources equally, as opposed to where they used to extract. The national government collects everything, nothing goes back to the community. So the community needs not to be opposed to mining now, because they share the revenue from the minerals. There is one more thing that yesterday I was in Kakamega, talking to the people of Kakamega, how they are going to benefit from the 680 billion gold reserves that we have in a village called Isulu Bushangala in Kakamega. 680 billion. Now you see, we are still opposed to it. But you're telling them, this is an investor who is going to put in between 170 to 300 million dollars. And when the politicians, especially our politicians, say, we better invest in it, we better want to extract it ourselves, we've told them we are ready. If we are able to invest 130 to 380 million dollars, come, we'll give you the rights to mine. But do not procrastinate for the community. It's taking too long. We need to extract these minerals for our people. The land for agriculture is becoming small. But now we need to look at other resources, and the new frontier are the minerals. The community development agreement is what the community signs with the mineral rights holder before they do extraction. And what do they get in turn? The government has not come in, the county government has not come in, national government. The community signs an agreement and say, at least you give us 1%. You can negotiate to 2%. But at least the law says at least 1% of the gross sales. So in terms of community investment, they become part of that investment. So that they must sign what's called the community development agreement. So as I conclude, I just want to take you through the land access and the county roles again, because you must give consent. As much as we say the minerals belong to the national government, but the owner of the land, which has been defined in the constitution, both in public, private, and community land, those three who owns the land must give what's called a consent under section 37 of the Mining Act. And that consent shall be in written, and there shall be like an agreement between the two parties. Then from there is when we shall grant you the license. So as much as we want to give you the rights of that, but you must also access it through the owner of the land. It's a county government which is holding on behalf of the community, private, or as the public, the national government, who sometimes other agencies who own land. So I've talked about this. It is all this in the constitution. How do you go about it? I've talked about in Article 10, rights to public participation. There must be public participation. You can't just walk up and say, I'm going to Kitui. How did you go to Kitui? You must engage the public, and that's where the county government comes in. We have now changed our procedures in the sense that you must notify the county, you must notify the county binding officer that you intend to engage the public for the purpose of obtaining the consent, so that everybody is aware. We do not want litigation after. How did you access to my land? Who gave you the rights of my land? So we want public participation at a very, very early stage. So that's why we've changed a little bit to make sure that there is less friction between the investor and the community. And where politicians now come and say, oh, my dead body. As long as I'm the MP here, or as long as I'm the governor here, I will decide if my people's rights are being infringed. Now that's the language you hear from politicians. But you see, at what cost? We need to engage. But now we've changed. We also want to use the the constitution itself, Article 42, the rights to clean and healthy environment. The community, as much as we want to extract the minerals, Article 42 talks of the right to clean and healthy environment. And that's why we define a community. Who is a community? A community is a group of people who are affected by the mining operations. So we actually identify you in terms of how are you going to be affected. Is it the water? Is it the clean, the air, pollution? So we define you, and then you earn the royalties, or we share with you these royalties, the 10%, and also the 1%, plus the CSR that the company gives as they do the investment. And then Article 44, respect of cultural rights. We do not go against the cultural rights. We negotiate. That's why sometimes we go into multi-agency, where the National Museums of Kenya comes in to look at national heritage, the culture of the people. How do you go about it? How do we move this so that we allow mining? So everything has been anchored in the Mining Act and the Constitution. In the Mining Act, we say you must sign community development agreement. You must sign. And then compensation where possible. There must be compensation which is very clear, and then you must get environmental approvals for the purpose of Article 42, where you have a right to clean and healthy environment. So National Environmental Agency, the one that's mandated, or authority, they are the ones who give approval. They ascertain how the impact will be to the community through the social impact assessment. And then we come in under section 85, subsection 5 of now sharing benefits to everyone. I think I've given you too much, but just two last ones. Types of licenses. we have the prospecting license, which is basically, it gives you the opportunity to undertake research, feasibility study to understand what is the quantum of those minerals within that particular area. So we give you the rights to have that prospecting license. And then once you've done that, then we give you what's called the mineral rights to start now extracting the minerals. And that goes for a period of 25 years. Because we assume that it will take you not less than 25 years. A life mine period normally takes about 25 years. But the others which might go beyond. Like for example, base titanium, for those who know, it took about 12 years and the minerals were exhausted. When you, like the particular in Kakamega, that minerals that we are extracting from that particular village might take probably, the company has estimated it will take about 8 years. And that's why, once the minerals are over, the community is still looking at, yes, we are still expecting royalty. The people of Rwanda, for example, are asking now, they did not realize that the mine period lapsed or ended. They're asking what happened. They feel that now, initially there was a lot of resistance, but after that, when they started enjoying, and then the life of the mine came to an end, they're asking, who is this who has closed base titanium? So the question they're posing to us again is like, why have you closed base titanium? So we are now taking time to tell them, look, the minerals lapsed or ceased, they exhausted. So that is it, that's the end of the story. Too short. But now we are saying under the Sovereign Wealth Fund bill that we are developing, all this 70% that we get from the royalties will now go direct to the Sovereign Wealth Fund, so that we are able to share it to the future generations of our communities. They should understand that what came from here is what is still benefiting them through schools, through roads, through hospitals, and many others, so that we'll be telling them the story of minerals in this particular area. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, Katibu. Another round of applause, please, for the PS. We are coming towards the end of our engagement forum this morning, but this is the time now for questions. We'll take a couple of questions on the presentations this morning on the endowments in Kitui, the investment opportunities. So kindly, we can take around 5 to 6 questions. David, please, if you have a microphone that can go around. Direct your questions to whoever you'd like to answer them, whether it's the governor, the PS, or a member of the executive. Maybe I'll go first. David, I have a question for the governor to just start us off quickly. Well, Governor, we've talked about, we've heard about minerals. My question, I guess, is how do you position Kitui's minerals to make sure there is responsible and viable investment? I would like to acknowledge the presence of the Principal Secretary in charge of Industry in the Ministry of Investments, Trade and Industry, Dr. Juma Ohwana. We hope we'll be hearing from him in a couple of minutes before we wind this up. We can continue with our questions. Governor was asking about the minerals, how we position our minerals in Kitui for responsible and commercial viable, extraction, and to make sure that what safeguards are in place to make sure communities, local communities benefit from this and the environment is taken care of. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Kitui, for that question. We must appreciate minerals are defined as land which vests with the national government. If you look at Article 62F, that is Chapter 5 on land and environment. So minerals are defined as land that vests with the national government. I think Dr. Eric Mutai said that as much. Sometimes county government and county leaderships, they mistake the minerals which are in their localities, like the coal in Kitui. We say it's ours. We have a stake, yes, because the land belongs to either our people or is public land, which we are supposed to manage. So what we do in Kitui is to ensure we have liaison committees in the areas where there are minerals. For example, in Kansiku, where we have limestone, or in Moi Basin, where we have coal. We have liaison committees. And the members of the communities there, they are the ones who elect those liaison committees. But the national government and county government are represented. For example, in Coal Basin, the chairperson is Mr. Eric Mutua, former chairman of Law Society of Kenya. And the intention is to make sure any investor who comes, we engage with them, both the county and the community and the national government, and we agree on how both the prospecting and the mining will be undertaken, and clear obligations of each. You heard there is a framework agreement which must be signed, where the community can even get 1%, not the 10% royalty, but 1% for the mining, and that is in the Mining Act. So, to answer your question specifically, we rely on the Mining Act, the regulations relating thereto, and also the EMCA, the Environmental Management and Conservation Act, to ensure should anyone do any mining, they take care of the environment. The other thing is artisanal miners, the small miners. I was just discussing with Eric Mutai here. How do you deal with that when you give a big miner, big company, the rights to come and mine copper, for example, at a place called Midikwani, and we are the second largest depository of copper, it is. But there is an artisanal miners cooperative which is there. How do we take care of them? And he has explained to me that they have realized you can't do away. Even the ones in Kakamega who are doing it small scale, you can't just come and remove them. So they have created a framework, that is a national government, where they are also allocated portions of the land where that mineral is found. So we are following that in the case of Kitui, in the case of copper, with limestone, and so forth and so on.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then, in addition, we have a ministry responsible for mining with a CCM, that is our minister, and a CEO, and the directors and so forth, to help the county in that work. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's get more questions. It can be about anything that was being presented. Can we get a microphone to the gentleman name and which organization you represent?
So thank you, Kitui. My name is Christopher Azuki. I'm the chief executive of the Hive Group, so we are beekeepers. My question, actually, I've been sent by bees. To you, Your Excellency, the government. They are asking whether there is an effort towards building up the nectar and pollen reserves for the bees in Kitui County. This will help us improve in production and make sure that our bees are not migrating heavily as they are doing down the river county. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Let's get a couple of them, then we'll get them to be answered. Do we have a question on this side in the middle? There's a gentleman on the back. Kindly give us your name and direct your question.
My name is Solomon Kitungu. I'm a former PS for Public Works in the National Government. I think my question goes to my former colleague, Kumtai. On this MOI, the call, I know there is that provision that you have to respect the culture, and the culture includes the graves. And I'm wondering, there is so much resources there in terms of coal. I think we have never needed the money from the minerals in this country more than we need it now. So what is really happening? How do we sort out the Moi issue, the Moi basin issue for coal?
Thank you. Question for you there, Katibu. Let's get, there's a lady at the back on the other side, and then we can get some responses.
Good morning, my name is Claire and I represent the Viable Network. We are a development organization. My question is, as the country continues advancing its youth development agenda, where do you see the greatest opportunity for organizations using community-based support to complement existing programs?
All right. Let's get one more, just there, and then we can get the responses.
Thank you and good morning. So my name is Christine Peter. I'm a daughter of Kitui, just like my brother. And today I'm representing Equity Group Foundation. So my question is around agro-processing. So I just want to ask, are there existing opportunities in agro-processing that prevent farmers from losses after harvesting? Because as a daughter of Kitui, I've seen many farmers, especially small-scale farmers, lose a lot of mangoes after harvest, and it would really help if there are opportunities in agro-processing. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Governor, there are three questions for you. You can respond to them or direct them to the relevant departments. There's a question for you, Bwana PS. Maybe we can start with you and then we go to the Governor.
Thank you. That's why I said I have very many friends. I even know my former colleague comes from Kitui. Karibu sana Solomon. Let me respond to your question. Yes. Just to give you background information about the Moi Basin, and specifically the 4 blocks that were identified, and they were given out under the concession. And I think what happens is those investors who are given the opportunity never took advantage of it. So what is, as per the Act now, the Cabinet Secretary has the mandate to revoke their licenses, and I think that is a process that we are in so that we're able to identify new investors who will come into that area. Some of them had been given or issued with a prospecting license, but they have taken so much time that the Act does not allow us to go beyond. Prospecting license, maximum period you are given is 9 years. If you have not prospected, discovered anything there, then we tell you, step aside, let another investor come and do the prospecting so that they see what we can get from there. Then how do we go about it? And I think the issue of cultural sites, we do negotiate with the communities. We understand, for example, the grapes, the loved ones who have been buried there. The law allows for reburial. So there are provisions within the law that they can allow for reburial once they have agreed with the investor and a suitable place has been identified, land has been identified for the community, for the family, and they are supposed to be resettled somewhere else different, then the entire process will also take effect in the sense that at the cost of the investor, not at the cost of the family. Please take note of that. You know, sometimes people look at it and say, but you're going to make me incur cost. All that cost is at the cost of the mineral rights holder. Once you give you the rights to extract in that particular area, then you assume all cost. The government does not meet on the cost, neither the community meets on the cost or the family. So everything is done at the cost of the investor. We do negotiate and we allow for a compromise agreement. But where, again, it becomes a problem. And as long as the national interest supersedes, community interest or family interest, then we use, again, the provisions of the law to compulsorily acquire the land and move the community to a different place together with all the attendant features that they want to move with it. So all that is provided for in the law. Thank you. But that is where we use extreme. We normally don't want to go there, but we do negotiate. And we have not had any challenges whilst the community has been taken through the process. And that's why public participation is key. And we are going to have now engagement with the county government of Kitui because we want to sit down. Actually, politicians have been our biggest problem. And we have to find a way out. Whole governor has brought us here today to tell us opportunities are available in Kitui. And then you see a politician somewhere there pouring cold water in what the governor is doing for the purpose of investments, opportunities that are available in Kitui, within our country. And the rest, what you get from the national government will be a surplus. And that's why you have a surplus budget for yourselves. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, Katibu, for that comprehensive response. Mr. Governor, there was a question about the youth, where you see the greatest opportunity for organizations using community-based sports to complement existing county programs.
To avoid talking a lot, I'll ask my minister responsible for youth to respond to that. But I'll say very briefly, we are one county which is very proactive in engaging our youth. For example, we engage them and sensitize them on the need to join polytechnics so that they can acquire a skill which they can use to employ themselves or to employ somebody else. As I said earlier, we are the only county which organized a youth engagement forum which had over 1,000 youth. Mr. Secretary, you may be aware of the same. They came and they participated, and our panelists were youth from Kitui who are millionaires using the resources from Kitui, both women and men, youth. And the youth were so impressed because when they were their panelists, their fellow youth, and they tell their story, how they moved from where they were to where they are. We have also developed our youth empowerment policy, which passed through the County Executive Committee, which is our cabinet, and it has gone to the County Assembly. They passed it, and they have returned it to us. That is about 3 months ago, and we are going to use that particular policy to help our youth. When you go to agriculture, we have a program which identified agripreneurs who are youth, 7 from each of the 40 wards. That is 40 times 7. That is how much? 280. 280 agripreneurs or entrepreneurs who are youth but engaged in agriculture, because agriculture is responsible for 30% of our GDP. So it is probably the main contributor of job and employment creation. And the youth, they are shy from getting into agriculture in any way because it doesn't produce enough money for them to acquire a top-end vehicle very quickly. But you have to start somewhere, and you must create interest in them. So we have done that, and they are doing a very good job. And our agricultural extension officers and our ministry liaises with them so that they don't drop the button. Let me, with your permission, invite our Minister for Youth if she wants to expand. I know there is something we are organizing for sports. Maybe she can talk about that.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. My name is Phoebe Mutemi, the County Minister, Culture, Gender, Youth, ICT, Sports and Social Services. In Kitui County, community-based sports can be positioned as a strategic pillar for youth development, knowing that we have an energetic, youthful population in Kitui County. As we say, the population is 25%, and they are very talented. And knowing that we have existing sports infrastructures, as we mentioned there, that we have the Okwe Stadium, which is 10,000 seater, and apart from that, we have other existing facilities. And some of the areas where we can enhance youth development is through one, talent identification and nurturing, where we can establish the village, ward, and also sub-county leagues, so that we can position our youth and nurture their talents for international competitions. Looking again at other areas like what we have said, the fitness and recreational facilities, where we can also engage our youth who are talented to be some of the trainers in fitness and so forth. Again, as a county, we have got a way of nurturing our talents for our youth by organizing something we call it the Governors Cup, which involves our youths from the grassroots to the county level competitions. And we have also other ways in which we mainstream our youth agendas in our ministries and make sure that they're engaged and they're empowered. Thank you.
Thank you, Waziri. There are two other questions on agriculture about agro-processing opportunities to make sure we don't have post-harvest losses, and there was a question of the gentleman who was sent by bees. I don't know. All right. Yes, let me. All right. Yes, let's invite the PS for industry to talk to us about that. Thank you. All right, you can talk to it when you. All right.
Mr. Zuki, we have heard you. What basically is saying, listen, the people of Kitui not to be burning charcoal using those trees our bees used to harvest honey. And I completely agree with you. My minister responsible for environment is here. We are part of the national effort to plant the 2 billion trees, 15 billion rather, by 2032. And we emphasize planting of indigenous trees. And also we encourage people, whenever you cut one, plant another 7, because if the trees are not there, then they are going to migrate where the trees are not being cut. And the nearest place will be Tanariva or Taita Taveta. So thank you for the advice, and we will continue with it.
Thank you.
On agro-processing, I'll ask my Minister for Agriculture to talk to it. Thank you.
Yeah, true. It's true that there's need for value addition and also to minimize post-harvest losses, especially on mangoes and agricultural products. What we are doing deliberately to ensure that the private sector plays this role. We as government, our role is to facilitate over-producing environment. And what we are doing, we are supporting farmer-produce organizations so that the members of the farmers can be members of these cooperatives. For instance, we have cooperatives in every sub-county. I'll give you, for instance, Kitui Agricultural. These farmers, they are organized and they normally aggregate, and they have a farmer often. The risk of governments running some of these facilities, for instance, will not cheat you till you establish a value addition plant, because that's not our work of the government. We will facilitate, and that's why we have county aggregation and industrial park. We want you, private sector, come establish these factories. You have opportunities for value addition. Come, we give you land, we agree, you do factories. We have a lot of mangoes, we have a lot of green ground, and agricultural produce, even honey. You do the value addition. Then, in addition to also the issues of bee, again, His Excellency has mentioned, and there are so many things we are doing even on agriculture, also the planting crops which flower at different times, not only crops, which are the pollen and nectar, and also the Ministry of Environment, the planting of various trees. And also, again, we are having also these cooperatives, and we are working closely with the Ministry of Environment and the officers and the livestock to train our farmers again how to protect bees, and also the use of sand dams which have created a lot, those to provide water for the bees. So it is concerted effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Waziri. At this juncture, let's take one final round of questions before we hear from the PS. 3 questions, please. There's one here. There's too much questions here. It's a good thing. From the gentleman at the back there.
Thank you very much. My name is Ambassador Isaac Kapira. I'm the Secretary for Diaspora Investment, Skills, and Entrepreneurship. Your Excellency Governor, when you are given the land size of Kitui, it is very rare that you speak about mining, agriculture, livestock from one county. Kitui is, and I have no doubt you'll do well. Mine is just to encourage you to work with Kitui Diasporans. Right now we are all aware that our biggest foreign exchange earner is coming from remittances from Kenyans in the diaspora. But 80% of this money is going into consumption. I want to encourage you, people of Kitui, when you live here, make a call to a Kenyan in the diaspora. Tell them to come and invest in Kitui. It's a country of great potential, and thank you so much, PS, for assuring us that finally we shall see more coal off the block, because really it's something that we've been talking about a lot, and thank you for the encouragement that you've given to Kitui. So mine is not really a question, but it's just to assure Kitui County that we are going to work with you, we are going to work with you ahead of the conference to ensure that Kitui people in the diaspora, wherever they are, but you need to speak to them. You need to preach to them about the opportunities that His Excellency the Ambassador, Excellency the Governor has spoken about. Come invest in Kitui, a country with lots of opportunities. Asante Kitui.
Thank you. Thank you, my senior. One from here. Do we have questions from this area? Let's get two from there, and then one last one from the gentleman there.
Good morning. My name is Njoroge from Bideview Microinsurance. When Governor, in your first term, I had brought in some investors from Jordan. They wanted to invest in limestone, but there was no clear pathway in terms of extraction of limestone and licensing. Then the other question is, I can see we have lots of minerals in Kitui. What appears, can we have a similar arrangement, just like the Mara and the county government, that minerals in Kitui benefit people as much as the law from Kitui benefit people from Kitui, as opposed to you extract minerals and you leave Kitui people as poorer as they were. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Boniface Mwangani. I am the Secretary General of the Association of Pension Trustees and Administrators of Kenya. For disclosure, I come from Mwingi, and I'm proud of my county. The pensions industry has close to about 3 trillion shillings in Kenya. But when I have been listening and I've been monitoring my own county, I have a question. Will Kitui County, at some stage, consider investments by pension schemes, say, for example, in infrastructure? Here in Nairobi, while I watch, we are being pushed towards Mount Summit and some other road name I don't remember. But I would like my county to remember that the pensions industry is at their disposal. They only need to make a request. May God bless you.
Thank you. Let's have one final question before we wind this up. There's a gentleman at the back there. Can you tell us your name and where you're from?
Yeah, good morning everyone. My name is Dr. Engineer Kennedy Mwetu, and I'm the Managing Director of Sindan Industries, a company that manufactures mattresses in Kitui County. I'm also a senior lecturer at the University School of Engineering and Architecture. I'm sorry I came late, and my concern maybe have been expounded, but I just found mining section going on. But when you talk about Kitui, I have a lot of things to do with Kitui, and I feel I have some concern to share. So we talked about mining, which is coming with a lot of manufacturing, as I am doing. And something that you can make fertilizer from phosphate, you can make glass from silica, you can make a number of things when you talk about mining. And my issue or concern is that as we think about this manufacturing, is there intentional or kind of arrangements localized to boost the manufacturing in the county? Because you know one of the things that starters, they are stuck. You start and you find you cannot move. If there's intentional, I'm sure you can promote other sectors in terms of manufacturing to come on board. So my concern is this taken on board to see whether there are some kind of activities that can help, because we know the issues of manufacturing. When we usually have some of these meetings, I normally see a lot of people coming from the financial institutions, and they say they have a lot of money. But financing manufacturing is not an easy thing. You'll be asked a lot of couple of things, and you have not even started. You're given a loan, the following day they are on their neck and they send you collaterals. And you have not even made even a ceramics for the product you have tried, because you have to run several trials until you get something that's acceptable on the market. So is there an arrangement intentional to both this sector? Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer. I think that's where we leave it in terms of the questions. Your Excellency, you have 3 questions. Plans to boost manufacturing, plans to consider investment from the pensions industry, a question on limestone and making sure minerals or mining benefits the local communities. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll leave the last question to the PS industrialization, because you know, the national government is in charge of Kenya. Kitui is one of the 47 counties which make the Republic of Kenya. And we want to hear from him what national policies they have to make sure that they support industrialization in counties. But from our perspective, we encourage them to do whatever is necessary and whatever is prescribed to access finance from institutions which has been established in the national government. Previously, and I think there are plans to merge them into one, the PS will tell us, with the Women Enterprise Fund, the Youth Enterprise Fund, Weather Fund, and all those were structured to enable people to access finance for manufacturing and other ventures. But let's hear from him. Going back to the issue related to Mr. Njoroge, who came with some investors from Jordan to invest in the areas in Kitui where we have limestone, a place called Manthima, another place called Gaia in Mwingi North. In the Mwingi North, there is an investor who actually is more or less at the tail end of starting to produce, and their plant is going to be located there. Because we, as a county government, even that consent we are supposed to give. One of the, you don't give consent if you own something like land without a bit of requirement. We are requiring investors to invest in Kitui.
so that they can create jobs and opportunities for the people of Kitui, rather than to come and mine the raw materials and take them to either other parts of the country or other parts of the world. In that case, Ngaiye is being taken. The one in the Madima area, and there's a lot of limestone and Kanziko area. There was a problem when some investors who were connected with the cement making companies approach our people quietly, stealthily, and they bought their land, such that the land actually doesn't even belong to the 190, doesn't belong to the county government, because part of it was adjudicated and the title deeds, and they will approach them and then they sell it. But we are engaged to see how we can unlock that by also bringing in the people who gave those rights or sold those rights, because again we encourage people to lease. If an investor comes and you have land which has certain minerals, although the PS says the government can, because it's a mineral, they can take it, but you still have rights as a landowner. We are encouraging them not to sell, but to lease. You even get more money that way. Then there's the gentleman, Boniface, who asked us to take advantage of the pension fund, which has an asset base of 3 trillion. Yes, we agree. But, you know, pension funds who hold clients' money, because it's clients' money, pensioners, who put their money there, or whose money is being managed by a pension fund, they prefer the managers to invest that money where they have a return and they can be getting dividends, or they are where they could be growing. What we'll do, arising from your recommendation, is to make sure investment in Kitui are attractive to pension funds, or where the pension funds can invest in partnership with other investors or otherwise. But they normally would not go and start a company and so forth, because their funds managed on behalf of their owners. So, but we will continue doing that, creating the necessary environment. If you look at our mission, we didn't project it, but the booklets you have as a mission. Our mission is to create an enabling environment and provide effective services. Our mission is not to convert ourselves into companies or to do that which ought to be done by the private sector. So we will create an environment by the necessary policies, the necessary legislation, having systems where if it is approvals, they are granted very quickly without delays, no corruption in doing that. And then the private investors, when they see that kind of environment, they'll come in. And then pension funds, when they see a good investment, they will also come in. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. A lot of issues raised on mining. PS, would you like to have a final word?
My colleague from the industry is going to summarize. From the presentation of the governor, you only notice 2 things. Number 1, it is grown, agriculture, agro-processing. Number 2, it is mine of the minerals that we extract. So that's mine. So there are only 2 things. Either it is grown or it is mine. Just to answer the question from, to respond to Kennedy's question, I'll start by responding to Boniface. And I want to agree with you, Boniface. that yes, we have a lot of funds within the country. The financial institutions, for example, they have funds. But we realize there's been a big challenge. Number one, most of them did not understand the mining sector. So what we have done is we have taken a deliberate move, and we even get quite a lot of financial institutions, the big banks, for example, KCB, Equity Bank, Eco Bank, who already, some of them have invested. Like Equity went to DRC Congo. Equity now knows about funding in the mining sector. Eco Bank is so strong in West Africa. So they are now bringing that expertise. So what we are now trying to do is to take them through the licensing regime and the legal framework within the country so that they're able to understand. Like for example, when you've talked about it, when you issue a license, it is for a period of 25 years. So that means it's like that long investment. You need to structure the kind of funding. And we'll be coming to you, the pension funds, we also need to engage with you so that you're able to provide this funding to the sector. There is one more thing that people need to understand, that sometimes we rush to mining thinking that it's profitable. It is a capital intensive. So the most important thing is to do what's called a definitive feasibility study, confirming the resource. What is the value of that resource? So that when you bring in the banks and the financial institutions, they simply put in the money. In fact, they will be struggling, not even struggling, scrambling to make sure that they are the first ones to read the line to give you the opportunity, because we will be with them for a lifetime of about 25 years. So I think I agree with you. We need to be deliberate on this, especially the financial institutions, so that we, as a sector, we are now going to capacity building to understand when you issue somebody a license, how long does it take? What does it mean? What is this license about? Don't get, say, for example, the prospecting license. We know it's for a period of time. So the funds that goes in there is just for feasibility study to understand, exploration, and then figure out what is the mineral resource. So I think I agree with you. We have to be deliberate, Boniface, to support the manufacturing. Finally, that's where we're aiming at in terms of value addition. But without being deliberate and attracting the funding, it will be very difficult. It is going to benefit the people of Kitui if it is processed in Kitui. The beauty of it now is the infrastructure is available. So if you have to ship your minerals from Kitui, now you don't need to come all the way to Nairobi. You can see the road is Kibwezi and you are there to Mombasa. So I think in terms of the infrastructure of the country, it is well structured in the sense that we are able to reach each and every county. What remains now is for us to bring in what is available in each resource in the county. And I want to thank Kitui County. They have really opened their book for us, the investors. And I think my colleague from Diaspora said, this is a book. Issue them with this, our diaspora, the diaspora people, we are now going out there to tell them the available opportunities, and specifically for Kenyans. So we are trying to encourage Kenyans now to invest in the mining sector. Thank you.
Thank you, Katibu. And with that, we come to the end of the plenary session this morning. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for making this very, very interactive. A round of applause for yourselves, please. And at this juncture, allow me to introduce the next and final speaker this morning, the Principal Secretary for Industry, Dr. Julius Malombe. Karibu, please.
Thank you, Master of Ceremony, and let me again apologize for coming late. And it also gives me an opportunity to have the last word, although I have already said to all of you. Let me take this opportunity to thank the Governor, Julius Malombe, my friend, for the energy that is in this room, for this level of mobilization. It's rare. We come from counties, and we know that this is really, really rare. Please give him a clap. You are very able, CEC, Rose Tuku. She has been on my case since yesterday. Prepare him a coffee. And our PS for mining, Hurricane Time, prepare him a coffee. I had sent a representative here, so I wanted to make sure that I was here, because I had another engagement. So I sent someone just in case I delayed. So he was here standing in for me. Karanja Jora, please is very important. So he was here making sure that if I did arrive, he will take over from there. I think I'll start from where we have just concluded, and you can see that there is a lot of relationship, there's a commonality between mining and industry. So for those of us who really want to facilitate that space, I think it's also important that we put ourselves in the shoes of the investors, because sometimes we think about our resource, and it's a very important thing that we have this resource, and I'm informed that we have a lot of people, ambassadors, high commissioners from Zambia, Malaysia, DRC, Yemen, Nigeria, Pakistan. I really want to thank you for coming. As P.S. Hurricane Tai would say, investment in mining is heavy. In industry, it even gets worse. Because one clinker plant, and I can quote one we just did in West Pokot with the one that DEFCI did, it cost 45 billion shillings. That's a clinker plant. So you can imagine and how many years do you need to recoup that if you put 45 billion shillings in one investment. The nearest you can break even is 25 years. So sometimes we are talking about our resource, and we think you can throw something at somebody for 5 years, and then you say, you know, they are making a lot of money from us. It is not easy. And I think if it was that easy, that resource would not be sitting in that soil, because it has been sitting there for the last 5 billion years. So that limestone, iron, the copper that you have has been sitting in Kitui for 5 billion years, because we have not figured out how to get it out and make use of it. To give you an example of the opportunities that we are missing, today, for example, you're talking about gypsum. Our cement manufacturers need gypsum. Our fertilizer makers need gypsum. And today, as we are talking about gypsum in Kitui, already we have a lot of people mining gypsum in Nairobi, Garissa, Kwale. So other people are already making use of it. So we need to see limestone. It is not that because you're talking about limestone in Kitui, we are not harvesting limestone. When this government of His Excellency Julius Malombe came to power, the cement factories were importing clinker. Clinker is basically limestone that has been heated at high temperature. And we put a levy on it, 17.5%. So we said we have limestone that is sitting in the soil, and there are factories that are importing clinker from Jordan, from Egypt, and we put a levy on it, 17.5%. Since we did that in 2023, what has happened? Now there was a clinker factory put up in West Pokot. I know that Bamburi Cement is doing a clinker factory in Kwale. Basa Cement has done a clinker factory. Rice Cement is doing a clinker factory in Kisumu. So those are the policy measures, but we are still talking about the limestone of Kitui. If you look at coal, there are factories in this country that cannot survive without coal. You cannot do cement, you cannot do steel, because you have to achieve temperatures of 1,500 degrees centigrade. So we are busy importing, and we'll never stop. As we can still be talking about the coal of Kitui, but today we are importing coal worth 5 billion shillings every year from Tanzania, from Mozambique, from South Africa, until your coal comes online. And remember, if today you started to do a factory to produce coal, sometimes because we are talking about facilitating investors, the earliest you will get that coal out of that soil is 5 years. By the time you get the land and you get the NEMA license and you import the machinery, which will be like 20 containers arriving from wherever you have imported, and you put it together and you fix the factory. By the time you see the first kilo, 1 kilo of coal, it is 5 years from today. So, if we are the people that are going to facilitate that process, we need to know it's rigorous, it is difficult, and as we are talking, other people are selling. So today we import 40% of our coal from South Africa, 40% we are importing about 38% from Tanzania, we are importing about 22% from Mozambique, and so the importation continues. And for me, it is actually a criminal offense that we are importing something that we are sitting on. And then we are talking about poverty, and we are talking about income, and we are talking about the country moving forward. So we really need to think. So the fact that you are sitting with your coal will not stop somebody else from selling it to you. And so, the second issue I want to talk about is industrialization. Let me say that Kenya has a long history. We have done our best in terms of establishing industries at independence in 1963. We did not have a lot of industries, so what happened is government established a lot of industries. KCC, Rivertex, East African Portland, name it, sugar factories. But what has been proven up to today is, if you look at what has happened, is when you subject them to competition, government was never set up to run factories. Government was set up to do policies, to be a good referee, to give the private sector an opportunity to do manufacturing. So today, I will not stand here and lie to you that we have one successful government factory. A lot of them either have died or are struggling, meaning that the opportunity really lies with you. Our role is to create an enabling environment for you to be able to move forward. But before we get there, let's look at the global picture. This is 2026. The world started talking about industrialization in 1740. So the first industrial revolution in the world was experienced in the UK in 1740. That's 300 years ago. And then from the UK, this industrialization then moved to the rest of Europe. Germany, Spain, Portugal, Italy. And when the Europeans were migrating again to the Americas, they moved with this industrialization. And so we have an industrialized America, Canada, Mexico, Brazil, Argentina. But then at some point, the cost of production of manufacturing became very high. So a lot of this manufacturing was relocated to Asia, China, India. And today you know that a lot of Asia is now industrialized. China, Japan, Malaysia, Singapore, Nepal, Vietnam. So this industrialization has moved. And we've had the first industrial revolution, we've had the second, the third, today we are talking about the fourth industrial revolution. And the question that we are asking is, while the other people are talking about the fourth industrial revolution, Africa has yet to experience its first industrial revolution. Meaning that we have not reached where Britain was in 1740. And how do we assess that? Today, Africa, with 55 countries, we have a population of 1.4 billion people. This accounts for 18% of the world. But the share of manufactured products from Africa, out of this 18%, we contribute only 2.8% of manufactured products to the global market. So 18%, manufacturing 3%. Let's look at Europe today. The 27 countries of Europe account for 9%, 400 million people account for 9% of the world, but their share of manufactured products in the global market is 24%. So we have a challenge as Africa that we are lagging below our weight. Somebody is manufacturing for you. If you look at a country like Kenya, we are basically importing 80% of what we need and producing about 20%. And yet, Kenya is about number 6 or 7 in terms of manufacturing in Africa. And we are importing 80%. So we have countries in Africa that are importing 98% of what they need. Because today, if you look at manufacturing, Egypt is quite ahead. South Africa, Nigeria, Morocco, Algeria. Kenya is the largest manufacturing hub after South Africa in Eastern Central Africa. 30,000 or plus factories, but we are only producing 30% of what you need, meaning that there is a lot of opportunity in that space. But if you are importing 80%, I want you to put it in perspective. That every time you import something, you export a job. Because if you're importing a pen from Vietnam, you are employing somebody in Vietnam to make that pen. If you're importing 80% of what you are consuming, what it means is this. If all of us in this room, on a monthly basis, we are earning 1 billion shillings, what it means is that we take 800 million every month and take it out of the country to somebody else, to China, to India, because we have employed that person to make goods for us to buy, to use here. That explains sometimes when you see a lot of strain, and that's why sometimes we have no jobs for young people. They're talking about unemployment. And I hear Kenyans talking about cost of living. And I say that you cannot discuss the cost of living if your work is important. Even if you bring Jesus Christ here to be your leader, if you are importing 80%, we will discuss about the cost of living until the world ends. Did you come to Nairobi? So my dear brothers and sisters, we must, I know we are producing in terms of primary production, which is farming, but we must take this conversation to the next level, which is secondary production, which is value addition and manufacturing. And in this room, we may not have all the ideas, all the resources that we need, but we have colleagues and brothers and sisters from countries that have succeeded. And that's why I really want to thank the government. If you're talking about Brazil, you know what they have done. If you're talking about Malaysia, you know that they have done their bit in manufacturing. And therefore we are here to learn, to partner, so that we put the energy that we have, the ideas that we have, together with the friends that are in this room, so that we can create real long-lasting opportunities for value addition. In terms of Kenya, if I zero it down, 90% of our manufacturing in Kenya is only in about 6 counties. So Nairobi alone accounts for 50% of your manufacturing. So one county is 50%. If you add Machakos, Kiambu, Mombasa, Kilifi, a bit of Kisumu and Nakuru, you have 90% of your manufacturing. Some of us are manufacturing at less than 0.1%, and yet we have the opportunity. And that is why I would like to say that we have discussed enough about opportunities. What we need is to move to the next level and take action. And I am very happy that the government is giving us an opportunity, a very clear profile of how we can go to the next level. And the sooner we do that, the better. In terms of what the ministry is doing, we've done quite a bit of work. So when His Excellency the President came into power, he realized that part of the challenge of manufacturing, as I've said, is the high cost of, the high entry cost. To enter into manufacturing is expensive. So the idea that he had, which we have been implementing over the last 3 years, is what we have been calling the County Aggregation and Industrial Park. And this is how it works in very simple terms. The national government is partners with the county government. The county government has to find public land, 10 acres or more, and then contribute 250 million and the national government contributes 250 million. Together we have 500 million to build an industrial park that has 8 sheds. Each shed is 20 meters by 50 meters, meaning 1,000 square meters. So in Kitui today, we have 8 industrial warehouses, each measuring 20 by 50, so 1,000. The total space at the kind is 8,000 square meters. And so we have built this on government land. We also build an office block. We build, bring water, bring 3-phase electricity, do a changing room for male and female workers, do waste management system, do a wall and a gate around that park. So basically, if you are a manufacturer, we have changed the equation. So today, if you want to manufacture in Kitui, you don't need to buy land. You don't need to build a warehouse. You don't need to think about how electricity or water will come. You simply go to the governor and you lease one factory, you bring your machinery, and you move. So we are trying to bring, and this is not just being done in Kitui, we have already, as a national government, completed funding in 34 counties. Over the last 3 years, the government, the national government, has spent 10 billion shillings. Okay, so. He wants me to shorten. Do you want to listen or do I want to shorten? Naona hawa watu wanataka kusikiza. Wewe unaleta vitina. So weka wapole. Yeah, time belongs to them. So today, if you want to manufacture in Kitui, in Kirinyaga, the construction, so already about 10, 15 of these are complete. In Kiambu here, in Kirinyaga, in Embu, in Meru, in Kisii, in Migori, in Busia, in Wasingishu. So we have been constructing 34 of them, about 15 are now complete, and you can go and plug and play. There's something else that we are going to do, an extra thing. For one select value chain, we have agreed, His Excellency has directed the President, that we do one value chain, we buy common user machinery. So we have identified one value chain for those that have completed. Kitui has not yet completed, but I know, for example, for Kirinyaga, we have agreed we can do something for tomato-based production. In Embu, we are giving them a machinery for honey processing. In Meru, we are giving them a machinery for macadamia vacuum packing. And basically what we are doing, for each one of them, just one of those warehouses, we will equip it with one machinery. And if you are a manufacturer now, in Bungoma, for example, a coffee roasting plant, which means that you buy your coffee, you come, you book when you want to roast your coffee, you pack, you brand, another person comes to use the same machine. So in each of the 34 counties, we are going to do one common manufacturing plant. And so this is our idea in terms of pushing down some of this cost. The last issue that I wanted us to discuss, so that I end this conversation, is that when we talk about manufacturing, I have talked about how the rest of the world has moved. The question that has been very elusive on the Kenyan mindset and policy documents is, who is going to industrialize Kenya? Quite often when I talk to people like this, I see a lot of counties sometimes taking very many foreign trips to go to look for this elusive person called investor. For some reason, excuse me, the governor, we believe that an investor is someone who doesn't look like us. Who is going to industrialize Kenya? And if you don't answer that question, we will be here discussing this topic for a very long time. As I've said, Europe was industrialized by the Europeans. Japan was industrialized by the Japanese. Malaysia has been industrialized by the people of Malaysia. India has been industrialized by the people of India. So who's going to industrialize Kenya? How many industrialists do we have here in this room? 1, 2. That explains your problem, isn't it? So, one governor, next year when we repeat this question, I want to see more hands. So the people who are letting down Africa, the people who are letting down Kenya is Africans, because you think that somebody owes you the business of industrializing your country. So all of us are very busy talking about opportunities, but we don't want to take the risk. When some of us have, and sometimes when I look at the beautiful houses that you have, I go to Kitui, we were there the other day for at Seku University, and we were also there for Madaraka the other day. I see very beautiful houses. Those beautiful houses would easily be cottage industries. And if you did a cottage industry with 20 million, it will build you, the house you have in Kitui today, you build 20 million. The biggest billionaires in this country, if you take 100, 90 of them are manufacturers. So my dear brothers, let's not just encourage other people. Let's not think that our job is to come here and encourage other people to invest and to industrialize. It is really our core business. Today we are in the bottom, we are very, very near to establish something called the Industrialization Fund. We've already done the regulations, which is something that we have, His Excellency has directed, that we do a fund where if you are looking for 6 million shillings, 10 million shillings to buy machinery at a low interest rate, you should be able to access this as early as the next financial year. So mine is really to encourage you, my brothers and sisters, first of all to attend the Kitui upcoming show and to play your role in industrializing your country. I thank you.
Thank you very much, PS. Thank you very much, Ben Kitili, for a fantastic job that you've done on your question on the deputy head teacher is Kitui, head teacher other counties. Thank you very much. We must conclude this session, and I would like to invite His Excellency the Governor to make final remarks. Thereafter, Madam Rose Motuku will move vote of thanks, and then we conclude. A round of applause for His Excellency the Governor.
Thank you very much. I will take a lot of your time. I just want to take you through what is in your pouch or take away. Please walk with me. Maybe you can take it. There's a quick response code which looks like this. If you use your phone just to see what is there, you see what is there already. It's a quick response code to tell you the sort of documents you have. Then we have a resource mobilization concept note, which, have you read this properly? This is the one. This one is a resource mobilization concept note. Then we have the investors concept note. This one, at least this one is properly labeled. Then we have an exhibitors booklet. We have in that agricultural trade and investment expo in September. Is an exhibitors booklet which can guide you how you can be one of the exhibitors. And then we have the Kitui Tourism Circuit, which we launched sometimes last year in September. You will see the Kitui Tourism Circuit. If you want to invest within it, you should be able to do that. And then the other one is a presentation which I made, or the document which I used in making the presentation, headed Kitui County Resource Endowments and Investment Opportunities. It's also in there. And then all these are in the website of the Kitui County Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Agriculture, but overall in the Kitui County website you'll find this document Finally, as I prepare to thank all of you, let me respond to the gentleman who talked about there being a lot of money from pension funds. Pension funds, like all other monies, will be drawn where there are returns or better returns. If you ask yourself, in this country of ours, okay, where are the returns, better returns, safe returns, where the risk of loss is minimal, you need to ask yourself, where is that? Is it in a company which is investing in Mwingi, Kitui, or somewhere else in this country? Or is it in government paper? Treasury bills, treasury bonds. So long as the government is in the market borrowing money, the cost of funds will be expensive. And pension funds and pension managers who manage the funds will not look very good to their stakeholders and investors if they take that money as well. They must take the money where it's safe and they are assured of a good return. So there is a bit of work to do, not by Kitui, but by the country. And simply put, is the appetite for government to borrow from local banks and institutions like pension funds goes down. How can it go down? It can only go down if the economy improves and we are able to generate, or government is able to, government and the people of this country are able to generate sufficient funds to run government and to do that which governments are supposed to do. I hope that is not very complex, but I do not want to also explain it in too simplistic terms. But that's where we are. Okay? Thank you very much. Now, finally, let me take this opportunity, although it's somebody to give vote of thanks. But on my behalf, as the CEO of the county, I want to take the opportunity to thank all of you for responding to our invitation to come and we be together, have breakfast, those of you who came early enough, and we share ideas which we have shared, and we hear perspectives like the ones we have heard from our two principal secretaries. They are very useful. The questions which have been put from the floor are educative, and we will continue the journey. Because as I said, our mission as a county government is not to produce goods and services, but to create an environment which can attract investors to produce goods and services, to attract industrialists, and they don't have to be outsiders. And that's the reason why in our county we organize the Kitui County Investors Forum. And it was local investors from Kitui and others came from outside. We actually believe Kitui will not be developed by even other Kenyans from outside Kitui. The Kitui people should take the principal responsibility of growing and developing Kitui, including saving money and investing there, our own money, and taking the risk, because there's risk in investing. But of course, we can't close ourselves. We are open to investments from within the county, within the region, within the country, within the region, and global. Kwa hivyo asanteni sana. I don't know, Minister, you can come. People can hear your voice. You being the Minister responsible for trade, give her a hand of
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rose Mutuku, the County Minister in charge of Trade, Industry, MSMEs, and cooperatives. I'll not run a vote of thanks after my governor, because he is the CEO, and he has already told you thank you for coming. So what I will be doing today is just to say welcome again, and let's meet at KASTIE, invest in Kitui. Kitui is right for investment, and on behalf of everybody, the investors who are here, maybe, and the ambassadors, we have been told after we have a photo session, we'll be directed how that will be done. Please attend the photo session so that we all take a photo together. And after that, some high-ranking ambassadors and investors who are willing to meet the governor will be back here to just have a one-to-one talk with you. So if you are interested, you can do that. And thank you very much. Karibuni.
Thank you very much, Madam. You properly understand protocol. Now we want to conclude and announce the photographs. We will have two. The first one, we'll have the governor, we'll have the ambassadors and the PSCs who are seated. And then behind them will be the diplomats, Deputy Governor, and CEO Kenya Invest. That's the first photograph, and the second one is all of us, them included. Let's all be upstanding so that we come to the end of our breakfast with the national anthem. Let us proceed for the photo session outside here. You will be guided by our protocol team. They are waiting. But just for clarity, the first photo we will have His Excellency the Governor, Excellency Ambassadors, and PSCs seated. Behind them will be all diplomats, Deputy Governor, CEO Kenya Invest,